everyone. Keep it down. Cole Phelps joins the arson squad today.
How'd you like porking that German whore, Phelps?
Phelps is up before a review board in December. Until then, he works the arson desk. End of story. Phelps.
Yes, sir.
I don't care what you did or didn't do, Phelps. I hear you're a good case man. But if you fuck up on my detail, I'll have you out of here before your feet touch the ground. Do we have an understanding?
Yes, sir.
Cap, we don't want a fucking rat like Phelps.
Can it, Tilden? Phelps, I'm partnering you with Herschel Biggs.
I don't do partners. You know that, Cap.
You do now, Biggs. Social basket cases like you two should get along just fine. Biggs will show you the ropes, Phelps.
This is arson. There are no ropes.
It shouldn't take long, then. Start with these two. House fires. 326 South Kenmore Avenue. Steffen's family was out of town when it happened. Then go to 4414 Rosewood, family by the name of Sawyer. Fire brigade will be on location.
Are they suspicious, Captain?
That's for you to find out, detective. Now get out of here. Both of you. Get out!
Hey everybody, welcome back to LA Noire. My call sign is November 9 and I am lost in this building.
Well, you don't see that every day.
Following our new partner, Herschel
I'm praying that
Biggs,
those prints come through so I can nail that son of a bitch.
as we've been demoted to the arson desk. In shame, after being exposed by Roy Earl
You watch the Ham and Galahad fight.
as an adulterer. Boy, it's a good thing that's not a crime anymore, right? A lot of people would be in jail. All right, we're going to make Herschel drive this gigantic boat car everywhere. Good grief, look at this thing.
You drive. I need to go over the case notes.
How long have you been working arson?
We gonna do the small talk thing now? Talk baseball, exchange addresses? I don't think so. Feeling down, hotshot? Need a buddy? We'll look somewhere else.
If that voice sounds familiar, he's the one talking at the beginning of the game.
There isn't much left.
There never is if the job's done properly.
You think it was deliberate?
Nah, that's real pain in her face. They would have moved out the things they care about if this was insurance. There's no mileage in this. Hello, Mike.
Hey, Hirsch. Cap this one.
Yeah, Mike Brannigan, Cole Phelps. It's okay, Brannigan. His name may be dog shit, but there's none in his hand.
No offense, Phelps.
None taken. Do you have anything?
The fire started late last night. Steffen's family at Catalina Island. Won some kind of competition. Looks like the only thing they ever won in their lives. And they come home with us.
I'd say they were pretty lucky, really.
They don't have any insurance. Everything they own, including the house, is not a pile of rubble.
Where are they sleeping?
In the car. It's lucky the whole block didn't burn down. Word is they're bulldozing this whole neighborhood to build new homes for GIs. That's the man in the house. In the ruins. Terry Lady is his wife.
We'll take a look around. Come on, Phelps.
All right, I'm going to just do this so I can get a minute here. So word is they're bulldozing this whole neighborhood to build new homes for GIs. These people probably wouldn't sell, you know. And I think back then you might have been able to determine or not if someone had insurance on their home. Don't know that for certain, but that's just my guess. Anyway, Biggs did give us some good tips there. If it's a planned arson, yeah, they usually do move the stuff they want out. So let's go look around and see what we can find. Aside from big puddles of water. Ooh. Hello? I'm hitting the button.
Recently serviced. Could be something to go on.
All right, so in the scene in the beginning, we saw someone, looked like they were reversing the thermostat, maybe. So maybe this heater went on when it wasn't supposed to go on, or maybe he was reversing something with the gas flow, so the house filled up with gas. Then when the heater kicked on, boom, it went up like it wanted to be totally destroyed. This house looks all boarded up and abandoned. Maybe these people were the last ones left. House on the other side is boarded up too. So they didn't want to sell, probably got lowballed, and as a result, somebody torched their house.
No good to me.
Huh. I don't know what that book's all about. Lamp.
I don't think so.
I think we found the only clue worth finding. I'm just checking all the boxes here so we don't wind up back here for some other reason. Let me look at my notebook and see what it says. All right. Well, we still got to talk to some people, I guess, but I'm not sure any of this is the value. That pan totally melted. Should have got some Gotham steel. You can put that thing through a forest fire and it wouldn't get damaged. What was he doing over here? All right, let's go talk to him and see if our notebook indicates we're done after that. But yeah, that house is totally destroyed. I really feel bad for him. Imagine everything you own going up in smoke.
Mr. Stevens? Cole Phelps and Herschel Biggs, LAPD. I know it's a difficult time, but could we have a word?
Don Steffens.
You were out of town.
We won a prize. We had a wonderful time. Came home to this.
Do you still have the tickets?
Sure.
It's a formality, but we'll need to speak to the issuing agent.
All right, so presumably Catalina Island is some junket resort locale. And they got a ticket, they left, somebody burned down their house. All right, let's ask about the competition.
Can you tell me any more about the prize that you won, Mr. Steffens?
Weekend at Catalina Island. My wife got this flyer in the mail from the Suburban Redevelopment Fund.
Okay, he's got good eye contact there. Looking away a teeny bit, but we're not going to count that against him.
Did you enter any kind of competition?
My wife filled in a flyer. This lady just rung up and told us we won. It's the first time I ever won anything.
I hate to say it, but if you got one holdout house in a neighborhood that you want to redevelop, maybe there was only one flyer and no one else could have won. Just something to think about. I really wish he had asked him when all his neighbors moved out or something like that. Anyway, let's ask about the Suburban Redevelopment Fund.
The redevelopment fund. Did they offer to buy you out?
They're building new houses. They showed their money and most of the neighborhood just packed up and walked away. But I never bargained with them.
Okay. Let's use our intuition here. All right, so we've got bad cop and accused. Obviously, don't have any evidence or anything, so we'll go bad cop.
Everyone else is selling. But you're the holdout, aren't you?
I was the last. I thought I could hold out for a better price. Now, my house is the center lot.
So now you have to take the price regardless.
Looks like it. I've got no choice. I have to put a roof over my family.
That's all we need for the moment, Mr. Steffens.
All right.
Once with him.
You've seen the papers. I guess he's thinking about his own family. I'd say he's searching for some kind of atonement right now.
All right, so, I mean, the guy's lucky they didn't just turn around and lowball him, you know what I mean? So, let's, oh, the game well light is lit up. Let's go to the call box and get a location for the Suburban Redevelopment Fund. Although we would probably do it from our patrol car. Alright, let's jog down there, because why not? Cole Phelps loves jogging.
Phelps, 1247.
How could I help, Detective?
I need information on the Suburban Redevelopment Fund.
Yes, Detective. Just checking. The fund is a semi-government agency established to speed up the building of GI homes. It has private investors as well as a government endowment.
Huh. Do you have an address for them?
There is one listed here, corner of Beverly and Mariposa.
Thanks, ma'am.
Alright, so, oops, wrong button, sorry. So we got the next fire to go to. Here's the redevelopment poster, Elysian Fields. I want to say I think that probably has some sort of mythological reference. Although I can't rememorize what it is right at the moment. Alright, well, oh no, Herschel Biggs, don't try that. I have a feeling all these episodes are much longer than the beginning ones, so...
You can drive.
I would like you to drive your big boat car.
Have there been any other house fires?
This is Arson. We get an average of 2 a night. Does that answer your question?
2 arsons a night. They must be redeveloping a lot of the city.
Hi, Albert. We've caught this case.
Hey, Biggs. You have a partner? What gives?
This is Cole Phelps. You may have read about him.
Oh, now I get it. Hello, Phelps. Welcome to the netherworld of Arson. Family of 4 found dead in their beds. Heater explosion.
Hey, another one.
Looks that way. Instaheat Model 70. Before you get excited, we get a couple of water heaters a month go back. Take a look around the yard and see what you can find.
Well, it sounds like there is a structural deficiency in the Instaheat water heater, and sounds like maybe a class action lawsuit is necessary in order to remedy that legal situation. Looks like the car caught on fire too, so maybe the point of origin right around here. That's just a wild guess. I don't really know anything about fire theory. But I'm saying if the car caught on fire, and this is the most destroyed part of the house, probably burned here the longest. That's my working theory. Alright, got some dead bodies over there.
Mal,
You gonna stick it out, Cole?
I'm gonna try, Mal. What have you got?
Family by the name of Sawyer. Mother, father, and 2 kids. All in bed from the looks of it. Oh, I'd say carbon monoxide poisoning. The burns are superficial.
Time of death?
I'd say about midnight. Anything more exact will take some time to determine. Lynch tells me this has something to do with a faulty water heater.
Could be. There's been a spate of problems with a particular brand. I've got another angle in mind.
You care to elucidate, Detective? This is a murder and not an accident. Sharing information has helped us solve quite a few cases together.
I need something concrete, Mal, before the department gets wind of it. I'm in Arson for a reason.
I feel sorry for your wife and kids, Phelps, not for you. But you're a good case man. One of the best I've ever met. I'll help in any way I can.
Thanks, Mal. I'd say that's firm but fair.
All right, so the department probably moved him to Arson because that's where they put all the people they don't like. Is this the same book? Of course it is. I wouldn't read anything into that, no pun intended. I think this is probably just a asset that they used in the game. All right, clock stopped at 5:40 a.m., p.m., who knows? Anything else in this house? Fan? All right, where's the heater at? Oh, why am I looking over here? It's... Oh, wait a minute. What's that?
Hey, Biggs! Is this significant?
Regulator valve. Good find.
Detectives? This is the next door neighbor.
Detective Phelps. Can you help?
They were supposed to be going away. They won a trip somewhere. But little Henry got sick, so they had to cancel. What are the chances?
Do you know who ran the competition?
Gulliver's Travel, up on Santa Monica Boulevard.
Thanks. You've been a big help.
Phelps, the guy across the street. I've seen him before. He likes fire. Hurry, you can still catch him.
All right, let's fail to tackle this guy 1 million times. Just like normal.
Stop! LAPD!
See.
We've got an ID on you, firebug. Stop right there!
There he is, officer!
Oh, really?
A family died in that fire. We need to ask some questions.
Oh, God. Guess I better get ready to fight him. Oh, nope. I know where this is going.
How dare you!
How dare you?
What's your name?
Herbert Chapman.
So you like fires?
Some.
Watching them or setting them?
I don't want any trouble.
Turn out your pockets.
You're a naughty boy, aren't you, Herbert?
I keep myself to myself.
All right, so I believe the way this type of device works is that's a full matchbook. He would light the cigarette and leave that where the fire is supposed to start. The cigarette's going to burn down and ignite the matches, and all the matches going at once puts up a big flame. And so that's how he would use it to start the fire.
Cigarette in a matchbox gives you a 5 or 6 minute delay. You want more time, you use a mosquito coil. Don't you, Herbert?
You like this fire, Herbert?
Hell no. I heard it over the fire radio. Sounded sweet.
When you finish following your leads, come and see me at the fire station. I have a theory about this.
Will do, Lynch. Take this guy in. We might want him for questioning later.
You got it, Detective.
He is what we call a firebug.
In this case, if it is murder, it's almost impossible to prove. Fire doesn't leave much evidence. There's no percentage in this.
I think it's more than one case.
They're house fires, Cole. Accidents, heater fires, gas explosions.
There's got to be a reason.
The reason is you want to be a star again. Forget it. Give it up. You'll feel better.
There's something to this. I know it.
What are you talking about? Arson is insurance. It's always been insurance.
We still investigate the cases, Biggs. The people in this house are dead.
Go soak your head, Phelps. This hero business is a full-time obsession with you.
I'm gonna make this case. I'm gonna rub the department's nose in it. Help me or stay out of my way. You got it?
Wow. I would really love to hit the map thingy. Game. Alright, where are we going? Suburban redevelopment? I thought we were going to like Gulliver's Travels or something like that. Well, those two burnt houses aren't anywhere near each other. Alright, so we're going to Gulliver's Travels here. Looks like we're going to go like that, so hopefully that all works. God, this thing's a tub.
Any Sentry in a 211 in progress, 522 South Hill Street.
Well, let's see. Is that anywhere near us? Oh, we are not driving all the way over there. No.
Code 3, identify.
Sorry, that guy's on his own. Cole Phelps got a big case to solve. Well, handle's pretty good in an emergency.
Can you go right at the next corner?
No problem, Big Z. I hope everybody's enjoying this. Thankfully, I didn't have the audio problems in my most recent episode. So let's hope that continues. Audio problems are never good. Biggs is just probably counting the years until he gets his paycheck. And I certainly do not blame him. Are you really going to make me turn around? All right, I guess they are. That's an inventive window. I like that. Boy, flying the airlines back in those days must have been a real treat.
Detectives Phelps and Biggs, LAPD.
John Cunningham. Can I help you, gentlemen?
We have reason to believe that the Sawyer family of 4414 Rosewood Avenue recently won a competition run by your company.
Yes, I remember them. They called up to cancel at the last minute. One of the kids was sick. Very unfortunate.
Do you mind if I take a look at that?
All right, a lot of trips to Catalina Island. In fact, I don't really know if they go anywhere else. Here's Sawyer right there.
The Sawyer family, Rosewood Avenue.
And here is Steffens.
Here they are, Steffens.
We need just a copy of that entire page.
Tell us about the Suburban Redevelopment Fund.
There's not much to tell. They run a promotion. Our promotion's mailing list covers half of LA.
Okay, good eye contact here. Nothing to think otherwise.
So they are not a government agency?
I don't believe so. Government organizations don't usually get involved in promotions.
That guy's tie's a fashion train wreck. All right, let's ask about the promotional travel contest.
I'm told the tickets were a prize.
Yes, they were.
You do a lot of these prizes.
Look, there are hundreds of these promotions running at any one time. If you're the lucky guy, you get your name pulled out of a hat.
Sounds pretty... He sounded pretty nervous. Looking around, now he's doing that thing where he opens his mouth but doesn't say any words. So we're going to go bad cop.
While the Sawyer family were supposed to be at Catalina Island, their house burnt down. You consider them lucky?
Christ. I'm sorry to hear that.
Can you tell me who offered the prize won by the Sawyer family?
Sure. Look, there's supposed to be some sort of supervised draw with hundreds of tickets. But the reality is the Suburban Redevelopment Fund calls me every couple of weeks and tells me exactly who has won.
Thanks for your help.
No problem. Just wish I could do something for that family.
You could put round the hat. A few bucks would really help them now.
I suppose so.
Good. I'll put you down for 50. I could tell you were Samaritan the minute I walked in the door.
50? Are you?
Good man, Cunningham. You're all right.
Yeah, I'm great. Poorer, but great.
$50 must have been a lot of money in those days. All right, let's go to... Why are we going back to the Sawyer house fire? What did we miss there? Interesting. I don't know. Let's go check out Suburban Redevelopment.
You know the way. You can drive.
Let me guess. You want to check out the Suburban address?
Great partners must think alike, Herschel.
Sure, Herschel was really all over that. I think he was saying it more like, oh, great.
This is supposed to be the registered offices of the Suburban Redevelopment Fund.
This is an Elysian housing development, Mac.
So Elysian is an investor in the redevelopment fund.
Looks that way.
Are we done here, Mac? I've got work to do.
Sure, buddy. Thanks for your help. Elysian are investors in the Suburban Redevelopment. So what? If you think I'm putting my pension on the line and harassing Leland Monroe without evidence, you're out of your mind.
Yep. Different rules for rich people, everybody. That's how it works. Alright, just like right about now. Let's go with the map and see where this fire station's at. Is it really right around the corner? Oh, it's right around the corner from a car. And we're here? Alright. Huh. Good thing nobody was driving down that road.
Right up ahead.
Thanks, buddy. Robin's racing, right? Yeah, this thing maneuvers so poorly, folks. I wouldn't advise trying to, getting into any chases with it. It is a land yacht of the highest caliber.
Just go on through here.
Thanks, Hirsch.
First George is en route to 496 Broadway. You have another assignment here, Central?
Alright, I think we're going to turn right here. Alright, this looks promising. Going along the trolley line. We won't hit the trolley, I promise. Alright, where's the fire station? It's gotta be around here somewhere.
Almost there now.
Oh, look at that. I didn't even recognize it.
We came as soon as we could.
Lynch.
Biggs, you two investigating the house fire on Kenmore Avenue as well?
Yep. Why?
I had a look around the place while I was out there.
Do you believe the fire?
I deal in facts, Phelps. Evidence of an explosion. No obvious sign of accelerants. Wiring looks intact. Come and take a look at this.
This the heater from the Sawyer fire out?
Yes, it is.
Huh. Looks like it was recently serviced.
I have a theory, and it's a theory only. I don't have enough evidence to prove...
Al, if you say it's so, we're listening.
Okay, Phelps. You're a bright penny. You have a gas supply. You have a Bunsen burner as a pilot light. You have a regulator valve, and the balloon represents the gas expanding in the room. Now, the gas has to make contact with the mosquito coil to form an explosion. Let's see if you can work out the chain of events.
Oh boy. Alright, so this thing would probably go in the middle. What is that? Oh, let's put that over here.
The gas bubble needs to be next to the coil if it's gonna ignite.
I'm just trying to move my hand, honest. We'll put that in the middle.
Good, your regulator's in position.
And then...
Okay, I'll light your pilot and turn the gas on.
You pull the lever on the left to turn on the gas.
So that's how it's being done.
Maybe. There could be a fault with these valves. I've adjusted this one for our experiment, but you need to take it to Instaheat and see what they say. Their headquarters is on North Harvard Boulevard, number 262.
Thanks, Albert.
You're welcome, Biggs. See you at the next show.
Alright, well, let's go see Instaheat. Yeah, they probably don't use mosquito coils a lot anymore. In fact, I don't ever remember using one. We would light these candles, you know. Alright, well, the Sawyer thing got crossed off. We'll let Herschel drive. Are you putting on your seatbelt, old man?
You're behind the wheel. Show?
The next fire. We should go to the factory and see how many of these things are going bang in the night.
You know this Chapman character?
Guy's a freak. He loves fires. He's the kind of guy that we'd like for a lot of things, but we don't really have any credible evidence to pursue him with.
Talked about that firebug we captured at that fire. All right, this is just a burgeoning American capitalist business here trying to get some heaters out.
LAPD detectives, ma'am. We need to speak to someone in charge.
I see. Well, duty manager for today is Mr. Rasick. You should find him in his office.
Great.
New and improved model. They'll be selling these like hotcakes.
So I guess if you had an old one, you're screwed. All right, little arrows
Son,
as
you're a couple
manager.
of slates short of a full roof.
Detective Phelps and Biggs, Arson. We're investigating a couple of house fires. What can you tell us about this?
Pressure regulator from a Model 70, yeah. Let me take a look. We have a problem. This has been tampered with.
What?
You see this diaphragm? It forms a seal across the saddle here. Gas flows across from here to here. The diaphragm regulates flow. It's been reversed. It's a subtle change, but it means the gas never closes off properly.
All right, so let's ask about the Model 70.
So you're telling me that this is not a manufacturing fault or service repair?
I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with the design.
Except it can be sabotaged by anybody with a rudimentary knowledge of how the valves should go, like any employee who services them. We're going to go bad cop.
You're telling me that you've never had any problems with this heater?
Look, we've changed the design since the Model 70.
These things are still being installed?
It's the demand. None of us could keep up with the amount of housing going up. At the budget end, we're still using some of the old stock. We are installing 100 heaters a week. They're not all faulty.
They're not all safe either.
All right, let's ask about the heater service history.
Are these diaphragms prone to failure?
They tend to go after a while. The rubber lasts quite a few years and then it perishes.
So the guys' names that I've been seeing doing the repairs on the heaters, they're fully licensed and accredited.
Sure, of course they are.
He didn't say that in a convincing way at all. You got heater serviced by Ryan. Heater serviced by Varley. I think we can use either of those to impeach him.
I think you're lying, Rasik. I think some of your men aren't fully licensed. You're desperate to cover your sales.
And how are you going to prove that, Detective? Name me one of my guys who would have overlooked a fault like this.
Well, let's talk about Ryan.
What about Matthew Ryan?
You know about Ryan, huh? All right, he's been in some trouble, I know that. He's done his time.
You in the habit of hiring criminals, Rasik?
I need guys, Detective. This boom is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
I want you to get me a copy of the list of your installers.
Okay, I'll get it for you. There, around a dozen of them. Housing business is going crazy at the moment.
I'm
This
sure it
a long
is.
shot. We are not going to rouse that whole list.
No, but we got Ryan right there. We got Varley.
R&I, cross-reference for arsonists. See if any of these guys have any previous. Sir, I need to use your phone.
Go right ahead.
Operator, give me dispatch.
Putting you through now.
Phelps, badge 1247.
How could I help, Detective?
I need to know if any of the following names have a previous criminal history.
Okay, Detective, run the names.
Acevedo Ernesto, Clemens Walter, Elgram John, Gable Leroy, Kelligrew Peter, Cutner Robert, Limehouse Albert, Manning Franklin, Neves Raymond, O'Brien Thomas, Ryan Matthew, Spurgeon William, Varley Reginald, Zurich Stephen.
Clemens Walter. Previous conviction for arson and malicious damage. Burned down a house in Westwood in 1942. 4-year jail term.
Thanks.
Ryan Matthew. Charged for contempt of court. Attempted murder. Plea bargain down to assault charge.
Oh, my.
Anyone else?
There is a Reginald Varley wanted for murder by Detroit Police Department.
Thanks. You've been a big help, young lady.
All right.
Your
Well,
employment roster is quite the rogues gallery, Mr. Rasik. Desperate times indeed. Do you have an address for Clemens?
He's working on an apartment building on Catalina and 3rd.
What about Ryan?
Currently working at a housing development on Normandy and 1st Street.
Varley, where is he?
Beverly and Mariposa, currently working on a new housing development. Hey, Varley's a good guy. You can't harass all my people.
These guys have lockers.
Yes, they do, but my men have a right to some privacy. Don't you need a warrant or something?
Show him and keep quiet.
I would be more worried about the housing development people than the guy working on the apartment building.
Here. Happy now?
Stick around, Mr. Rasick.
Walter Clemens, what do we have here?
Clemens is a fellow traveler.
I think that's probably a 40s way of saying he's an arsonist. All right. By the way, while we're talking about that, a long time ago, Rusty called somebody a fifth columnist, and that's essentially someone who wants to collapse the government from the inside. Okay, this guy must be the ringleader. He's got a big thing of all this stuff.
Some light reading on the merciless capitalist machine.
So by
Ryan wants the world to be a better place, don't we all?
So by burning down houses and allowing for housing redevelopment, he's fighting capitalism somehow. Does that make sense?
Doesn't look like anything.
Pair of needle nose pliers, maybe work tool. All right, Reginald Varley, what are we going to find here?
A company went through thousands of these in the war. Still got eaten alive.
Mozkill.
Varley has a problem with bugs.
That's actually 2 coils. You snap it apart in the middle. Anyway, that's how you do that.
You know that a mosquito coil takes an hour to burn down, Rasick?
No, I didn't know that.
It's the favorite choice of ignition by arsonists. Gives them time to get away.
You're crazy. He probably lives near the canals in Venice. Mind if I leave you to it? I got work waiting.
If he lives by the canals in Venice, why would he need him?
Burns, Clemens, Ryan, Varley. Where to, Phelps?
All right, let's go to Clemens. By the way, if that guy lives near the canals, why would he need mosquito coils at work? Just a thought. Did Biggs say ow when he ran into the wall? Cops just drove right by. Do something. This guy's a psycho arsonist. Yep, just fixing the thermostat regulator. I'm fixing it. Honest. And of course, every car in the game has to drive behind us right now, so we can't do anything.
Next corner, go left.
Alright, we're in a hurry. Police business.
Turn the goddamn siren on.
Calm down, old man. Look at this. 2 cop cars in front of us causing a problem.
No need to turn yet.
Oh my god, what is this car doing? Is it even there? Look at that. He just needed me to give him a jump. Don't even try horning in on my space, man.
That's it. Keep on.
Oh my god, I'm starting to get PTSD waiting in traffic. Look at all these housing developments going up while we're here. This whole area is being redeveloped by the Suburban Redevelopment Fund. They want to get some of those war bonds in their pocket.
Up ahead, take a right.
Thanks, buddy. Follow the money. Is that an Instaheat truck? I think it is.
Biggs, LAPD. We want some answers and we want them quick.
Okay. What's this all about? Just tell me what you want.
Knowledge of Varley.
You know Reginald Varley?
No? Can't say I do.
Okay, he works with you, guy.
Detroit PD is after Reginald Varley for murder. We want us to run you in for aiding and abetting, Clemens?
Whoa. All I know about Varley is he gets kickbacks from some developer. He does their work first, spreads it around if he can.
So he sabotages these heaters on properties they want to redevelop, burn down the old house, and then they build a new one. All right, let's ask about his employment.
You were licensed and worked for Instaheat?
I contract for them. So what?
All right, he's squinching up his face. That's a great sign to use bad cop.
Instaheat hires arsonists, does it?
I've worked as a fitter all my life. Put everything I had into that house. And my fucking mud shark of a wife gets awarded it in settlement. She's blowing spics 2 at a time while I'm at work. And she gets the house. Yeah, I burnt it all right. Set fire to that fucker and watched it burn to the ground. I did my time and I'd do it again.
Sorry about the rouse, Clemens. You did the right thing.
All right, well, that's a little different than an arsonist. He was a guy who was motivated by anger. All right, let's ask about his knowledge of Ryan.
Do you know Matthew Ryan?
No. Don't know the name.
All right, again, it's one of your coworkers, but more importantly, you have his pamphlet in your locker.
You and Ryan are 5th columnists.
And how do you figure that, wise guy? What proof do you have? Been following me to meetings?
There's that term again. All right, so we got the anarchist pamphlet right there.
We found a pamphlet in your locker, Clemens. We can add your name to the register. HUAC might want to interview you.
That shit was from Ryan. He's always pushing that shit on people. Drives me nuts. He's got it in for the company.
All right, Clemens. You're off the hook for the moment.
Can I get back to work now?
Let's get out of here, Phelps. He ain't our guy.
All right, let's take a quick break for me to read this to you from Wikipedia. So if it's on the internet, of course, it has to be true. A 5th column is any group of people who undermine a larger group or nation from within, usually in favor of an enemy group or another nation. 5th columnists are domestic actors who work to undermine the national interest in cooperation with external rivals of the state. Their actions can be overt or clandestine. All right. Well, that was a much better explanation than I could have given, so we're going to go with it. All right, speaking of going with it, we're going to go to Varley's work site. Now, remember, he is wanted for murder, so we got to be ready to take him out at a moment's notice, if necessary. I would really love to just see if I could four-wheel it through here,
might be
but...
packing heat. If he's wanted for murder, I say we take the doubt out of the equation and let him have it.
You nervous?
It's been a while.
You were in combat.
in 1917. You know, I never fired my weapon in the line of duty.
That's nothing to be ashamed of. I hope your piece is still serviceable, Herschel.
I may be old and out of practice, but I'm still a Marine, Phelps.
It would be better for our case if we could bring him in, Herschel.
All right, 2 Marines. These guys are going to start to get along just fine.
Next left.
That's my prediction. Look at this guy. By any means necessary. You think you're going to turn in here? This is a police car. What are you doing?
Right here.
It's a good thing I was turning already. Another area of redevelopment.
At the next turn, take a right.
There's the Instaheat vehicle. I was going to turn in.
LAPD, Varley! Stop or I'll shoot!
Oh, where's he going?
Varley, you can't keep running forever. Stop or I will shoot!
All right, that's how you pull off a warning shot, which is, by the way, not allowed anymore in law enforcement, for the most part.
Reginald Varley, the Detroit police have an outstanding warrant on. How am I doing so far?
I need a lawyer before I talk to any of you. Reginald Varley, you're under arrest for committing a series of arsons. You're also under arrest for murder. Detroit PD will be putting in a request for your extradition. Until then, you're a guest of the city.
Arson? You can't hang that rap on me.
Be quiet. Be thankful we don't shoot you.
Are all the cops in this town crazy?
Take him away, officer.
All right, well, that went as good as it could go, I guess. Uh-oh, I got an achievement.
Can you drive to this one?
All right. Where to?
7825, code 6.
Are you Matthew Ryan?
Who's asking?
Detective Phelps and Biggs, Arson Squad.
Arson?
You heard the man.
Let's just put this stuff in the car and I'll be right with you.
Shouldn't have said arson.
I said,
son of a bitch.
Oh boy.
Those are GI's backyards he's crashing through.
The damage is only cosmetic.
He's a one-man wrecking ball.
Move in. I'll take out the van. Enough games, Phelps. Take this guy out.
He's going to kill those men.
They'll get out of the way.
Only if they hear him coming.
Close in, Phelps. We need to take Ryan down before he hurts somebody. I'll go for the tires. That ought to slow the son of a bitch down. It's no good. We need to get closer. Smash the son of a bitch's rear wheels.
That's the end of that chase.
Hands behind your head. Why did you run, Ryan?
I was scared.
You got a reason to be scared, Ryan?
Matthew Ryan, I'm arresting you on suspicion of committing a series of arsons.
And for destroying someone's house. Clearly not built by the Suburban Redevelopment Fund.
3 suspects. As much as I'd like it to be Chapman, I think it's one of the other 2 guys. Let's get to the station and close this case.
I wholeheartedly agree, sir. And I'm going to ask you to drive there because you appear to be a gentleman.
You can drive.
I wish you would just ask a little bit nicer, you know. Hey, can you drive to this one?
I have 2 suspects.
Phelps, you got nothing. Biggs, Ryan's waiting for you in interview 1. Barley's in 2.
Hey, Hopkins, you practicing your asshole routine again? Come on, Phelps.
Yep. You wore out your welcome with everybody, Phelps.
Save yourself some time and get this thing off your chest.
If that's your opening gambit, you better try again.
All right, we'll ask him about the literature.
So you want to change the world, Ryan?
Yes, I do. So does every reasonable person.
And you're doing your part?
Yes, I am.
Does that include sabotaging water heaters to destroy a company?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
No idea.
This is industrial sabotage, Ryan. It's all part of your campaign.
You're delusional, detective. What campaign?
Oh, the one involving all of these pamphlets? Law and authority?
Your locker is full of pamphlets. Clemens told us how you were always foisting them on people.
Sure. I spread the pamphlets. A guy has to do something. Instaheat heaters break down every day. They're still peddling the same lousy design that they lifted from Hephaestus.
Instaheat bought out Hephaestus?
Them, Vulcan, Pyro, and a bunch of other companies.
And you still work for them?
A guy has to work.
And the directors of the company. How do you feel about them these days?
You work it out.
All right, let's ask about this defective Model 70.
You know how to reverse a diaphragm in the regulator valve of a Model 70 heater?
No, I don't.
All right, so we know that this isn't true. Ease of pressure regulator tampering. Of course he knows. He works on these things for a living.
If you know enough to do your job, you know enough to do that repair. You're lying, Ryan.
And how do you think you can prove that?
Your boss?
Your boss at Instaheat said that you've all been trained to do it. It's a common repair. Are you calling him a liar?
Okay, so I know how it's done. But what would be the point? You just end up with a gas leak and then a small fire when you turn the pilot back on.
And if you didn't reset the pilot and the gas spread, what was the cause of the fire in your own home, Ryan?
I won't tell you.
All right, let's ask about the Suburban Redevelopment Fund.
What can you tell me about the Suburban Redevelopment Fund?
Nothing.
So he sat back, he covered himself with his arms in front of him, and now he's biting and pursing his lips and swallowing. So we'll go bad cop.
I think Suburban is a front for your anarchist buddies. They're arranging for people to be out of town while you burn their houses down.
Suburban? What's that got to do with me? That's Farley's bilk. He's the one with the cozy agreement with those fascists.
All right, we'll ask about the attempted murder charge.
You have a history of violence.
I have no such thing.
You're lying, Ryan.
And how exactly are you going to prove that?
Your criminal record?
You were charged with attempted murder, Ryan.
It was a court case. No criminal liability was the verdict. They said that they couldn't have known that the faulty heater installation would cause a fire. All I know is I lost my whole family. And the company that was responsible got away with it. What would you do?
Which company?
Hephaestus Water Heater Company.
All right. I don't think we have enough right now.
That's it for the moment, Ryan.
So I can go?
Sure. As soon as your red friends storm the building and carry you out, you'll keep your seat until we decide how long to lock you up for, knucklehead.
Let's talk to our other suspect here and not be hasty.
I think Ryan is our man. But procedure says we eliminate all of the suspects. Let's speak to Varley.
Yeah, where's he at? Oh, no, that's the parking lot. Where is he?
I didn't want to arrest the kid, so I gave him a dusting he wouldn't forget.
Mouthpiece tore strips off me at the grand jury. Case got thrown.
We have Matthew Ryan in custody, Varley. I think all we need to do is ask him about this, and he'll rat you out.
Fuck Ryan, that pinko bastard.
All right, let's ask him about the Sawyer residence.
Have you ever worked on a place on Rosewood Avenue? Family by the name of Sawyer?
Maybe. I'm from out of town. I go where they send me. I don't do a lot of repairs, though. I'm flat out on new installations.
All right, we know that's not true because the second water heater, he serviced it every time except for once.
Why are you lying to me, Varley? If Suburban wants their new installations completed, why are you bothering with wrecks like the Sawyer house?
So I'm lying just because I can't remember if I was there or not? How can you prove that I was?
All right, right there.
Your name is on the inside door of their water heater.
Okay. You got me there. Suburban, yeah, they wanted that guy out. Sawyer kept complaining about not being able to get his heater service, so they threw in a free service as a sweetener. I think you played him, though. Because he still wouldn't sell.
Well, he's selling now after his house and all his possessions were destroyed. All right, let's ask about suburban redevelopment.
Word is, you're in the pocket of some property developer?
Never. I got principles.
We know that's not true. He's smirking and stuff, but...
How did Suburban put the squeeze on you? Did they find out about your record?
There's no way you can link me to Suburban. You're wasting your time.
All right, well, we've got the statements of these other two guys. Offered kickbacks by Reginald Varley. Conspiring with Suburban. We'll do this one.
Clemens says you offered to cut him in on the kickbacks they were offering. I'll testify in court.
Suburban, they got real-time pressure on getting some of the big developments finished. There's some big date that they can't afford to miss. So yeah, I took their money. But so did a lot of guys, all right? Carpenters, electricians, plumbers. It's no big conspiracy.
All right, let's ask about the Model 70.
What would reversing the diaphragm of an Instaheat Model 70 do?
Yeah, I made that mistake before. You get a big bang when you turn the pilot back on.
So you didn't deliberately sabotage the water heater at the Sawyer house?
No, I did not. You out of your mind?
All right, he immediately looked down. You know, there's no reason for him to have these mosquito coils in his locker, though.
I don't believe you, Varley. I think Suburban wants homeowners who don't want to sell out of the way.
I think you're out of your mind. Where is the evidence that I have done anything to contribute to this fire? Huh?
Well, after the experiment with the arson guy, the fire chief, I think we could say these mosquito coils that were in your locker.
Arsonists use cigarettes and mosquito coils as time delay fuses. We found an open box of mosquito coils in your locker.
Whoa, hang on. Those things, they belong to Ryan, all right? He asked me to hold them because his locker's full of stupid pamphlets. I thought he used them for camping.
All right, well, if that's true...
We're done for now.
So what happens?
You're either going back to Detroit to face a murder rap, or you're staying here to answer for these arsons.
I think we're going to charge Ryan.
Those Vice boys get any on the side?
I think we're going to
I didn't want
charge
to arrest the
Ryan.
kid, so I gave him a dusting.
based on that last statement.
I'm thinking of moving up to a 45. I want to stop him with one round.
Matthew Ryan, I'm charging you with committing a series of arsons and for the murders of Hank Sawyer, Edwina Sawyer, Henry Sawyer, and Jessica Sawyer.
You're putting an innocent man away here. You hear me? I didn't set any fires. I didn't kill that family.
Phelps, what you did to your wife and kids was un-American.
My wife threw me out.
Did I ask for your opinion? You're here to listen to mine. What I was going to say, before I was interrupted, was you did a good job on the Stephen Sawyer case. We don't often get results in arson, so well done.
What about me? Do I get a little stamp on my hand or a lollipop or something?
What you get is another case. A bad one, unfortunately.
All right, well, we ended up with a perfect score there. Did some vehicle damage, some injuries. I think we hit a guy with a flying car at one point. A little bit of city damage. This is Matthew Ryan fronts the grand jury with 4 murder charges around his neck. You know, before we get going here, I just want to say I have worked one arson case far long ago in the past. I mean, long time ago. And, you know, they never solved it. They never caught anybody. We had great ideas about what we thought happened there, but at the end of the day, they just couldn't prove anything. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed The Gas Man. If you did, hit that like button, and I will see you on the next video.